Okay, so we'll take a look here at the site. You can see building A over there is going up. That tall part over there is the elevator shaft. The wall and the pond that we started out with, or the pond is over there in that corner, and then there's a tall wall, and we filled all this area in. I think there's about 13 feet in the deepest point, but this is now where building B is going, and they're working on the foundation. I'm pretty sure this is the elevator shaft is what's dug out here. We didn't dig this out. The guys doing the footers did. Here's some of the footers for building B. All the plumbing is already in there, that looks to have been maybe a bad idea. They kind of got their cart in front of their horse on the plumbing deal. The plumbers were in a huge hurry to get things done. They come over here without even footers or foundations or anything, and put all the plumbing in this building, and then these guys trying to dig footers are having to work around all this plumbing stuff, and it's been a nightmare for them. I believe they've hit pieces here and there and having to fix it as they go, and I'm not sure that all of it's in the right place, because there was nothing to go by. Now this is a huge pile of mud that we put here. There's a storm detention system that goes in the ground here underneath this pile of mud. We've determined that we're not going to need this dirt, even though this site was supposed to balance, so we're going to have to haul it off. So we're going to start working on that. There's a sewer manhole here. There's several sewer manholes. There's several storm inlets that we've put in. Lots of pipes. You can see a fire hydrant right over there. That's part of the water system. There's 2 stub ups right there, and in building B, and there's two stub ups in every building here. All 3 buildings. One's for domestic water, one's for fire sprinkler system. So we had to put in 2 different water systems. One for fire protection, one for domestic water. Here's one of our storm manholes. Over there, the storm manhole. All right, down here behind the pile of dirt, sorry for the wind, but down here is where we got to continue filling for building C. Once we get it dried out, we're going to try to work on that after lunch here and putting some more dirt in. Over here is a ditch we have dug out for structure 7 for the storm system, and it does have some water in it now, but there's the N12 pipe I was talking about. That's 18-inch. Structure 7 goes there, and then there's a pipe that goes out that way to catch some of the inlets in the parking lot here in front of this building C. We realized structure 7 didn't get built after we dug the hole, so it's just been sitting here. They're supposed to got it built in a couple days. Well, it's been 3 days and we haven't heard nothing about it. So anyway, we're gonna go eat some lunch, and then hopefully after lunch we can fill up some more of the building pad C. So here is a 2-foot drop inlet box. That's what'll be in the corner of one of the parking lots. The curb will come to it, and this will be the low spot in the parking lot, and the water will run into it. There's several of those. These are some valves that we haven't covered up yet. There's going to be this is the domestic water here, and right here where I'm standing, or underneath this loader, is going to be a meter vault we have to put in when it gets built. So there's the building that's going up, and I think it's going to be about 3 stories. So this is just the ground level they're building. All right, so I just fired up the 700. I gotta get the GPS cranked up here so it takes a few minutes to boot up and get hooked up to everything, GPS, satellites, and everything. We're going to be moving dirt from over there. Maybe you can see the 200 over there working, maybe not. But this is building A. Building B's behind me, and then over at building C is where we're going to be taking the dirt in behind that big dirt pile. the big dirt pile is all mud, so we can't use that in the building pad. Most likely all that dirt's going to be hauled off site. But anyway, you can see the GPS, it's booting up. That it's waiting for satellites. Takes it a few minutes, but once it gets going, you're good to go, and it works great. Topcon system. We've been using it for, I guess, 4 or 5 years, 5 years now, maybe. We love it. We don't do grading without it anymore. We get models for everything we do, even pipe work. We use it for pipe work too. You can get your alignments, you can check your grades, just so many things you can keep up with, and you don't have to set up lasers and transits and any type of instruments. You just everything you need is on the GPS. So never had it be wrong unless the plans were wrong, because the model that's built for the GPS is based off of the plans. Now, we've had the plans be wrong and done the wrong thing before, but if you had surveyors come out and do it, they're going by the same plans too. So, you know, they're going to be wrong. If the plans are wrong, everything's going to be wrong. All right, so we've had this disked up all morning, and now we're trying to pack it back down. We were drying it out. The moisture was too high, and it wasn't passing compaction because it just wasn't bonding together like it should because of the moisture. So we're last night or yesterday evening we had disked this and got it dried out and packed it, and we got to pass compaction, and then it rained on it last night. Even though we smooth drummed it, he wouldn't allow us to put dirt on top of it until we dried it back off again. So here we are, building C, trying to get it dried out, and hopefully the dirt that they bring us will be dry enough to put on here and continue passing compaction. Don't you just love John Deere's chrome pipes? Alright, so now we've got a second compactor out here. The compaction tests are passing, so we got both rollers going, trying to get all this rolled back down that we had disked up and fluffed up, trying to dry. So here in a few minutes we can start adding another lift of dirt, hopefully. Man, it's windy today. I don't know if y'all can see them trees. They are flopping all over the place. I don't know where all this wind's coming from, but it's crazy out there. It's a nice day, but it's windy, super windy. So he's checking compaction right this second, right there at that spot. He's wanting to know the grade, so I'm gonna go over there and give him the elevation. He's wanting to know if I'm on grade here. I don't think I quite am, but I might be. One foot. One foot low. Okay, so the compaction man wants me to disc this area right here where we had the dirt, putting the sewer line in this morning. So I'm peeling the dirt off from the ditch, pushing it back, pushing a little bit in the ditch because he is working on backfilling it. But you can't put it all back in there at one time. You have to put it in there in layers. So put in a layer or a lift, and then you roll it. And then you got to put this detector tape in there. In case somebody tries to dig it up, you'll hit this tape, and then they'll know there's a sewer line buried below, because that's what it says on the tape. It's caution, sewer line buried below. So, anyway, I'm pushing this dirt, that I laid here from the sewer line off the building pad, and then I'm going to disc it. He wants me to let it dry for a couple of hours or an hour at least. It's drying really fast because of the wind. It'll be a good hay drying day today. It's a good dirt drying day. I'm going to take the disc and I'm going to hit this in just a second. I think that John Deere 7610, 10-foot Taylor-way hooked to it. I've said this before, but this was the disc off of our old dairy farm. I just rebuilt it. It's got all new 24-inch John Deere discs on it, and it does a really good job now. It used to disc all our corn land, about 400 or 500 acres of corn land when we had a dairy farm. So, old 7610. Get in this thing. It's a lot quieter in here than it is in a dozer. Well, the dozer's not bad. It's just when you're moving, the tracks are so loud on them, and then you got vibration. So we'll raise this thing up and disc it. Go do some disking. You got to put it in gear before it'll move for some reason. Crazy thing. Thought this was a telepathic tractor. Say back, you just think back up, you start backing up, but it didn't work. So all he wants me to do is just disc a spot about as wide as maybe a disc and a half here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just back up where I want it. I'm gonna do this a couple of times. Should be happy, hopefully. Get a little closer over here to the ditch that I had dug this morning. On a construction site. One more time for good luck. We got the first two loads coming in here. Got a D on the right and a C on the left. I believe the D's faster. It's like double vision here. All right, let's get some of this dirt knocked down. Load number 3 going in. Raising her up. I'll show y'all what I'm looking at here on this screen. So I got a grade. My cut and fill is telling me up 100th right now, so I'm basically on grade. It's telling me that right here there's a 2% slope to the left, and then I can see the job plans. Now this right here is a storm pipe that's got to go in that it's not in yet. This hashed area, that's the building C, and I'm in a grass area right here. Actually, this is a small pad. I don't know if it's a patio or what goes there. There's a patio right here in front of the building. That's what those lines represent. I can zoom out and you can see a bigger area. Now this hashed area over here, that's the storm detention system that goes in under the huge pile of dirt that we have to move out of here. That's one of the last things that we're going to do before we put down stone. So that's why we put all the dirt there, because we're trying to grade everything else. But this is building C here to my right. These are parking spaces. You see all those short lines? That's a parking lot. It's got parking spaces there. That's what they are. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at to go by is the job plans here on the GPS. It really helps. And then the dozer will also do an auto mode. It's almost like a 3D printer. You turn it on auto mode and it will print whatever's on that on the ground. I mean, you push this button right here and that light right there comes on. The blade will take over itself. You don't have to operate it. Now, there is exceptions to everything, you know. Sometimes you have to override it. You got to know what you're doing. It still takes an operator. You know, the only part this will do is the final grade. You can't just come out here and turn it on and start driving and expect it to build the job for you. You still have to put in the dirt and lifts before you get up to final grade. You got to know what you're doing. It takes a lot of experience to know how to do this stuff, and just a lot of time. And I'm not saying anybody couldn't learn how to do it. I'm just saying it takes a while to catch on to all the techniques that you need to know and do to do stuff like this. And if you do this stuff, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, let's keep on pushing some piles of dirt down for a little while before my camera battery goes dead. It's about to go. All right, so just got another load of dirt. I think that's about number 9. And I got both rollers hammering it in as hard as they can go. So, yep, we're getting along pretty good. My battery on my camera is going to die though, so I'm trying to conserve it a little bit. looking good. Okay, so this is why I like to refer to this thing as a big 3D dirt printer. I'm going to show you on the screen here. You see this thing in front of me? That's a parking block. And it's a parking spot. You got the lines on each side. I'm not quite centered in the parking spot. This right here is my blade. This is my dozer. This is my blade. All right, there's a curb right here behind that parking block. The curb is about 6 inches tall. So I'm going to drive. I've got the dozer in auto mode, and I'm going to drive forwards towards the curb, and I want you to watch what the blade does. Now the blade just jumped up 6 inches right there on its own. I'm holding the camera. Now it's going to go back down. I'm going to back up. See, it dropped back down. It knows that that curve or that elevation difference is there. So I'm going to go back forwards and up. 6 inches up. I'm going to go backwards. 6 inches down. So it knows that that curve elevation is there. It jumps up to 6 inches, and that's why it's a printer. It's basically a dirt printer. You just drive around. I mean, it's not really that simple. You just, it'll follow the dirt contours, and you just drive around basically when you get close, and it'll cut it to grade. But you got to know how much extra to cut it. How much, I'm telling the truck driver to dump. You got to know how much extra you need to put in, so when you pack it, it goes down the right amount. And I mean, there's a lot to it. But as far as doing fine grading, this dozer really is neat. Right now, I'm running right with the curb line. I turn sideways here. All right, so I'm going to go to the right a little bit, and the blade's going to jump, the right corner is going to jump up on the curb. And I'm going to go back to the left. The blade jumped back off the curb. So this thing follows that model to a T. So whatever's in that model, you're going to build it on the ground. Whatever it's shaped like in the plans, you're going to shape it on the ground. It's pretty neat to watch it unfold as you do it. Where typically you would have to go by grade stakes and set up lasers, and it's very difficult to grade. I mean, you could do it, done it for years before GPS, but this makes grading so much easier. It's like your computer at your office desk. It makes your life a lot easier. Without your computer, you have to do every little thing by hand, and when you have your computer, it automates some of the process and makes life a lot easier on you. It doesn't mean that somebody can come in there and do your job for you, because they don't know exactly what they're doing, but it makes your life a lot easier when you're doing your job. So this is the same concept here. It makes my job a lot easier and simpler. I spend more time running the dozer and getting things on grade than I do getting out of the dozer and checking grade, or having another man check a grade with rulers and measuring and grade rods and on and on and on, and it takes a lot of time. And while you're doing those things, you're not moving dirt. So it makes the efficiency of moving dirt so much more. You could cut months off of a project. Months, seriously, months off of a project because of GPS like this. All right, I got another load of dirt. I gotta knock it. All right, this is the last load coming in here for today. It was about 15, 16 loads, something like that. And now we're out of dirt where he's loading at. So we're not up to grade yet, but we're really close in places, but not close in other places. Out there next to that structure we put in this morning, that sewer structure, it's still got to come up about 4 feet, 4.5 feet. Over here where the roller is, or the rollers, it's the building is within about 6 inches of being on grade. So we're gonna have to come up with some more dirt, but we got to do a lot of trimming. When we dig this big detention system that's here under this pile, we got a lot of dirt we got to waste there, so we'll be able to use it here. That's, you know, so we gotta work all that out. Once they build that basement wall, once they build that big wall down there for the basement wall, we got to put a bunch of dirt in there behind it. Still a lot of dirt to move here, but we're getting closer and closer. They're packing it in. It's all starting to look pretty good. Compaction tests are passing. The dirt was perfect. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this video. I want to knock this last load of dirt down and probably get out of here. It's Friday evening. What time's it getting to be? Oh, 2:13. Maybe we get to leave a little early today. Maybe not. All right, see y'all later. So what I was doing at the end here was, there's a road, this is building B, and there's a road coming around right here behind it, and it comes down and it goes right through here. and goes down to building C, and then there's a parking lot down there. Well, there's an island right here. All this dirt was this high in here, so I was just using the dozer to cut it down, using the GPS to get it on grade. Well, subgrade, close to subgrade. We still got to go back and trim it a little more because we like to leave it a little bit high. And the reason we like to leave it a little high is because right before we put the stone on it, we'll trim it off because it's going to get wet and everything else. That way we can trim it off.
No, I'm not going to need that way.
That way we can trim it off, trim all the mud and everything off, then put stone on it on fresh dirt. And that's the reason why we leave it a little high. But right here is an island. You can see the outline of it right here. And then it goes over there and goes down. It's like a D shape right here. And I'm not done trimming on it, but I'm getting it close enough for now. When we get ready to put stone down, we'll come back and finish grading it. All right, see y'all later. Oh yeah, and this thing right here is what we call a rover. It does the same thing the GPS and the dozer does, except it doesn't control the dozer or anything. It just is a handheld unit. You can go around and you can check stuff very accurately to see if it's on grade or if it needs to go up or down. You can also use it to do alignments on pipelines, and you can do shows you where your structures go. It shows you everything on the plans, where it is, and tells you what the grade is at any point you set it down. And it's a very handy tool to have on a job site.